Hi guys, happy Friday. All right guys, so we did on Monday, we did Mandala Monday, which we all had such a great time doing. And I know that everybody was very fond of my mandala necklace that I wear. So that was I always say it's my last and it's never my last. I stamp it forward. So I'm gonna show you, I showed you the pieces stamped, but I'm gonna show you the finished project. See if you guys could see that. Okay guys, so today we're gonna be using ultra detail stamps on a couple of cuffs. I'm gonna do a tapered cuff with you guys today. We're gonna do a 1/4 inch, and I believe we're gonna do like a 5/8, whatever is really on my block. Hi Patty, well welcome. I'm glad that this is your first live. Southern Oregon, welcome. So for those of you who are just signing on, I'm just gonna go over what I said in the beginning of the video. We are out of New York, ImpressArt is out of New York, so we are still in a state where we are sheltering in place here. So I am bringing this live to you from my home studio. All right, so I'm gonna bring you over to my block, I'm gonna set you up, and we're gonna start stamping. Okay, so January is Carnation. So let me show you that stamped so you could see how beautiful that is. So that is the impression of Carnation. So this is January birth flower. Okay, and that is how beautiful, it's so detailed. Let me see if I could try to get that not so blurry. There we go. Okay. And then we have Violet. So this is Violet right here. Okay. And here is that impression. Now guys, with these ultra detail, you are going to see that, you know, they take a little bit of skill. So we'll go over the tilt and tap method. So this is the Daffodil. Oh, this is one of my favorites. And then we have the Daisy, and the Daisy is April. Okay. There we go. And then we have the Hawthorn, and that is May. This one right here. There we go. And then we have our rose. Our rose is June. The lotus is July. Here's my lotus. Okay, so I will find that in a second. Let's just keep on moving. Oh, poppy right here. There we go. And you can see how nice and crisp these lines are on these stamps. And then we have September, which is Morning Glory. This one here. We have Marigold. Which is this one right here. Very detailed. Then we have Chrysanthemum, which is November. And last but not least, we have poinsettia for December, for all your Christmas babies. So, I'm not going to coordinate the flowers with the names that you guys gave me because you left out that information and I didn't tell you that. I'm going to do more of a pretty flower landscape on this. All right. So I'm going to peel that off. You want to make sure that the plastic is peeled off from the front of your bracelet. I'm going to turn my block into a diamond pattern in front of me because I love, it gives it just more room to stamp, more area. Let's see. So Joanne asked if the ultra detail stamps are rated for stainless. No, Joanne, unfortunately they're not. They're rated for, you can use them on soft metals, pewter, alchemy, aluminum, brass, copper, fine silver, and gold. 12, 14, 18, 24. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp my design with my Ultra Details on the front first, okay? And then on the inside, I'm going to put the names in Stargazer on the inside of that cuff. Okay, so let's see. All right, so I am going to start in the middle of my blank. I'm going to tape it down on each side because I am going to hit these a little bit more aggressively than I would a regular 6mm stamp, okay? Because they're ultra detail, we're going to have to tilt and tap these. So let me push in a little bit, get you guys situated so you can see. All right, get you centered. So I'm using a 6-inch tapered bracelet. All right, and I am going to start with, let's see, I'm going to start with my daisies. Okay, guys, so you could basically plan out how you want to lay out your bracelet. You can use a piece of paper, you can draw out, trace your blank, and then just sketch in the flowers. But I'm just going to go all out there and I'm going to design it as I'm stamping. Okay, so with the Ultra Detail stamp, you always want to make sure that when you get it into the area that you want to stamp in, you're putting a little bit of pressure on the shank, okay? Sort of like a rubber stamp. When you're rubber stamping, you press that stamp down. You're going to want to really press that stamp into the metal, okay? You're going to get a firm grip on it, press down, and you're going to take your hammer, okay? Give it one hit. Then you're going to bring it back, forward, side, side. And that's my first impression of that daisy, okay? Then I'm going to come back. And I know the camera's bouncing. Let me see if I could pull that a little bit away so you get a better picture of it. All right. So then I'm going to continue with my poppy. I'm going to place that down. And I'm basically going to do more of like a landscape garden. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with my line stamp. Okay, this is the curve. Just like that, okay? And what this is gonna do is I'm just gonna give a little bit of sort of like grass, okay? I'm only using half of my curve liner. So I'm giving little wisps, okay? I'm gonna come in now with my violet. I'm going to place that down, okay? And I'm going to hit it once on the top, bring it back, forward, side, side. Here is my violet. I'm going to come back in with a couple of wisps with my curved liner. All right, so let's use now the daffodil. How do I get them so straight? So basically, I've used these quite a few times. So like I've told you guys before, it's really important that you learn your tools. Mine are way tilted and weird and not lined up at the bottom. Okay, you really want to, when you have it, your stamp where you want it, It's super important, guys, that when you are using your tools, okay, you definitely want to make sure. So I'm right-handed. My hammer is in my right hand. It's in my dominant hand. My stamp is in my non-dominant hand, okay? If you're lining up your stamp with your dominant hand and then switching it over, that's when your stamps are crooked or you move them and it's not where you wanted. Always get into the habit of having your stamp in your non-dominant hand. So again, I'm right-handed. My hammer goes in my right hand, my stamp goes in my left. Okay? So when I line that up to where I want it, I'm pressing down on it. Okay? Let me move this tripod really quick. I am pressing down on it, and now it's not going to move from me switching hands. Okay? So then I'm going to hit it once, bring it down, front, side, side, back to the center. And there is my daffodil. Daffodil is also one of my favorites. Okay? Then I'm going to come back in. And I'm going to utilize half, if everybody sees that I have half of my curved liner off my block, and I'm only using, I want to say about a good 6 millimeter of that stamp. And you could go crazy with these. Like, you can make them go higher if you want. I just love, love, love how these look. It just really gives it dimension. Guys, when you're stamping, whether it's an ultra detail stamp, whether it's a, let me take a piece of scrap that I have laying around. Even if it's a small 3 millimeter design stamp or a letter, it is very, very, very important that you have, let me see if I could get that in there, guys. Do you see how I'm resting my hand on my hard surface and I have my hand anchored to my block? It's really important. Your positioning of your hand and your fingers, your wrist, everything, they should act as an anchor for you. Okay? So I guarantee, Jen, if you are just really resting your hand, anchoring it, pushing down on your stamp, you'll get a better impression. All right, so let's go. Yes, the wisps, Kimberly, the wisps are my favorite. All right, so let's continue. So, Karen, this is the curved line, and then the flowers are the birth month, the ultra detailed birth month flowers. Let's see what else I have. So we did the daffodil, now the carnation. So now, guys, with the carnation stamp, there is a lot going on the top of that. Does everybody see that? And not so much going on the bottom of it. So you have a lot going on here, a lot of detail. So you're going to make sure that when you tilt your stamp towards the top, you're going to hit a little bit heavier, okay, than the bottom. So I'm going to place that down to where I want it. All right. And I'm going to hit it the first time. And then see how I'm leaving it at the top a little bit? Then I'm bringing it back, side, side, back. Just to get all of that detail in there. Okay. So then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to again place my curved stamp exactly where I'd like it. I'm going to press down on it, guys. And now remember, with this one, the curve, same as that line stamp. Let me grab the line to show you guys. So there is a line and a curve. Okay. With these stamps, try not to be oh so aggressive with these on these bracelet blanks because they are very sharp, Okay, and I would hate to have you go halfway through your bracelet with it, and then when we go to bend it, it's broken, and I can't help you fix. I can't help you fix that. So if you hit these too hard, it will slice through the metal, and that's when a bracelet is not fixable. Okay. Yes, Noelle, I definitely think that we have the same taste. I'm big with my dots. And I'm big with my lines. So now with the line stamp, as we flip up, with the line stamps, we also have a smaller line. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to show you how you could even, so there's this one as well. And I just use this one slightly towards, let me move my block so you could see from the side. I only use about 1 millimeter of it, and I lightly tap it. And the reason why I'm not going crazy, it leaves, how beautiful is that? It leaves more of an etched look on that metal. So you're getting, layer upon layer of detail. So when we put that enamel marker in, it's gonna catch a little bit of that line, but not so much of it. So it's going to give it a really nice antiqued look. Okay. So I am just going to move my bracelet, and I'm not going to be so crazy with it. I'm just lightly tapping it just to give it that dimension, filling in that bottom space. Guys, you could also use your font sets. You could use your L's. Now remember, in our font sets, the uppercase, all uppercase sets come with 6 design stamps. So I know one off the top of my head is Arcadia. Arcadia has a really nice squiggle, slant, and a slanted line that you could use. You could also utilize your I's or your uppercase L's. So let's see, I'm just going to come right back in here with some lines. Just like that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a ball peen texture just to the outskirts of it. So here is my multifunction hammer. Okay, so this hammer comes with 4 different heads. Comes with a chasing head, it comes with a nylon head, it comes with, of course, the ball peen head, and it comes with a sprinkle stamp, okay? And how you use it is there is a screw at the bottom of it. You're just gonna unscrew it lightly, and then your head goes right inside that. You push it in, and then tighten it. Now with this hammer, you don't want to hold it way up at the top. Let me pull this back so you guys can see this better. So you're not going to hold it up here, okay? What you're going to do is you're definitely going to make sure that that screw is cradled in your hand, just like that, okay? You never want to hold a long handle hammer here, because what happens if we hit and we texture, there is really not much space between that steel block and your finger, and you are not going to be happy if you hit it. So definitely, guys, hold it at the bottom, and then you could texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to texture the outskirts of my bracelet, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a... It starts to sparkle. It kind of looks like, I like to call it, it's like a diamond effect at the ends. Yes, Kathy, you could definitely texture around the lettering. Should you texture first or lettering? So if you're working on 2 sides of a bracelet, I would texture first, then stamp. So I am going to finish stamping the edges. And remember, guys, you don't always have to move your piece of jewelry. Twist your block. Yes, Melissa, I would, if you're texturing the whole bracelet, I would texture first, then stamp. If you're stamping a round, I would, you know, stamp your words or stamp your design and then texture. Okay, and I think I'm going to come back in with, how about some crystals? How are we feeling about crystals today? I think we're going to do some crystals. Crystals are always, they always look great on these. So I'm going to use, let's see. Crystals that are, I'm going to use 2 sizes. All right, and I am going to show you the crystal setters. Let me grab that really quick. All right, so you can see that they come in a pack like this, and there are 3 crystal setters and 3 packs of coordinating birth crystals. But guys, you can see that it comes in 3 sizes. So it comes in a 4mm, a 2.5, and a 1.8. Okay, and they come with a pack of crystals with them. All right. And your birthstones are actually, your chart is on the back. So when you open up this package, you could always cut that out and leave it on your bench block for reference. All right. So I am going to use my 2.5 because I just want a little bit more bling to it. Yes, even the horoscopes, definitely, Carly, that's a great idea. Cut out your packaging and use it for reference, guys. So we're using the 2.5 today. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place them sporadically on my bracelet. Like I said, we're going in blind today. Let me pull this back so I could show you really quick how I'm going to hit this. Okay, so guys, I'm not going to tilt and tap this. When it comes to the larger sizes of the crystal setters, I'm going to do more of a circular motion. Okay, so I'm going to hit it once. And then I'm going to go round with it. Does everybody see that? Give me some thumbs up and let me know that you're seeing that. When you anchor your hand and you move that around, okay, it creates a nice and even divot for your crystal, okay? Because sometimes when you're hitting the larger stamps once, okay, so I'm taking my scrap out to show you guys. When you hit it once, you kind of get it deep on one side and the shallow on the other. If you hold it down and press it and move your stamp in a circular motion, okay, it's giving a really nice deep impression. So Gina, I think that's what you have to try to do when it comes to the crystal setter. Okay, so this is the 4mm. Let me grab another scrap. Okay, so this is our 4mm. See how that's much bigger? All right, I'm going to just use it right here. Okay, I'm going to hit it once, maybe twice, the 4mm, and I'm going to go around. And this is actually going to spread that metal. Do we see that? See how that's nice and even? Now this is alchemy. It's a very soft metal. So what I'm actually going to do when it cups like that, does everybody see that cupping? Okay. You're going to put it down, face down, and actually on your block, which I didn't do when I first started to stamp, which I should have had on there, is, let me grab that, is one of my scratch protector sheets. Okay, so I'm just going to put this right in, actually I'm going to put it right in the center of my block. So this is going to protect the marring from the opposite side. I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to use my nylon head in my hammer, and I'm going to just lightly give it a few taps. Do you see how I'm not marring that metal? I'm not leaving excess marks on that. and then I'm flipping it over, and you have no excess marks here either, guys, okay? Because of that sticker guide. So let me get my bracelet black out. All right, so I have my 2.5 there, okay? And I'm going to, actually, I'm gonna also use my 1.8. So right here is my 2.5, and I'm just gonna come right down into my grass, hit it once, and then circle it. Pick that up, and you could see by circling and tapping that stamp, look how nice and even that divot is. All right, so I'm going to switch it back up with my 2.5. Hit it once. I'm going to go around, bring that out. I am dropping everything today. Sorry, guys. Feels like a Monday, right? All right, so I'm gonna put my crystal setter right in there. Do you bend or put the crystal in first? So what I do is I bend first, and then I put my crystals in. And I'm gonna go in my grass. Come back in a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna bring in the 2.5, one more. Okay, and bring this over so you guys could see it. And there is my last crystal. All right, I'm gonna come back in here with a, because you know I can't just leave it alone. I'm gonna come back in with my 1.8 again, because I just need to finish it and go all the way around, making sure that my impression is nice and deep and even. Okay, so we have that. And I think, I forgot if it was Christine or Noelle, said a couple of dots and some, let's see what I have here. I have a butterfly. So this tiny butterfly, like I said before, in your uppercase fonts, guys, they come with 6 design stamps. So this is always, there are some stamps that never leave my block. As you can see, I have a bunch of them here. A lot of them are ultra detailed, but a lot of them are tiny little embellishment stamps that I like to put in. So this is out of your Juniper set, your uppercase Juniper set. Let's see. Jill, I have been able to take all the tips you have offered over the last 2 weeks, and I've been watching. I love that. I love that. I love that, Jill. I'm so glad that you see a big improvement. That makes me happy. So, and if you've been watching, you know that I am super, I love this little, the dot stamp, the period stamp. This is a design stamp, and I literally just, I use it and I hit it. If you noticed, I am lightly tapping, okay? Because the lighter you hit this, the smaller your impression. So I always like to just jazz up my bracelets and my pendants by using that stamp. So you could see I go from it being very light to a little bit heavier, and I just literally, you're making it your own. You're making it your own, guys. So I'm just gonna put a couple of more dots in here. All right. There we go. All right, and I am going to use that butterfly from the Juniper set, and I'm just going to literally place him right there. Look how cute that is. Dot signature design stamp, yes. So it's 0.5 millimeters. It is one of the best tools. Guys, if you're starting to design and you're starting to really, you know, you want to come out of your comfort zone and you want to try new things instead of just using design stamps, if you want to start definitely kind of drawing with your stamps, I really suggest these four. Okay, so you have your small line, your curved, your straight, and your dot stamp. So we are going to, okay, so now that brings us to the back. And I know many of you have questions because I did not peel the blue off the back. That works as well as my scratch protector does on the back, okay? But when you're using your crystal setter, guys, you are going to have marring like this, okay? You can reduce it, all right? So I am going to, again, I'm going to turn my block into a diamond in front of me so I have more room. I peeled that blue sticker off, guys. Let's see. Yes, Patty. You know, guys, there's not a right or wrong way to design a piece of stamped jewelry. I mean, what's better than getting a gift from someone that's one, handmade, two, you really have to put a lot of thought into doing any sort of hand stamped jewelry, even if it's just a disc with a name on it. You know, you can't beat a gift like that. You really can't. So I'm going to take my nylon head. I'm going to make sure that my scratch protector is on my block. And I'm just going to literally give it a couple of hits. All right? And I'm going to run my finger over it. And I'm not going to be too aggressive with it, just very lightly. And you could see that it did come down some from what it started. Again, very lightly. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to use the buffing block a little bit today. So when you're using your crystals, your crystal setter, you are going to have a little bit of marring on the back, okay? I'll come back in with this one a little bit more. And I'm not going to bother you with doing all of them. I am going to show you. So I'm going to keep the outside of my bracelet polished, okay? I'm going to have a shiny look to that. The inside of my bracelet, just to dull these down a little bit, and I could still work on this one, but I'm not going to take up all our time today with doing that. I'm going to show you this one, and I'm going to show you how. Just use your medium side of your buffing block. Now remember, you always want to use the medium on the front and the back of your pieces. You want to use the coarse on your edges. So I know I say this 3 times a week to you guys, but hopefully it would stick. So I know Luann tells me that she hears me in her head when she's working with these buffing blocks. So remember, medium for the front and the back of your discs, coarse for your edges. All right? So you're going to take your medium and you are going to keep on hitting over these, and you're just going to mat it. You're going to mat your whole disc. Okay? And then once you're finished matting it, you could come back in and I'm going to grab a new one because a new buffing. So your buffing is going to be white. It has a super fine side and a fine side. Okay? You want to start with your fine side first, and then you're just going to come in. And now I'm not going to, if we sat here and did this whole thing, it would take a long time. So you're going to take your fine, you're really going to hit it, then you're going to go back and alternate it to your super fine. And you're going to get a texture on the back, the inside of that bracelet that, let's see if I have any samples. It's going to be more of a brushed look on the inside, and it will get rid of some of these impressions, or you could basically turn them into designs on the inside. Up to you. All right, so I'm going to come in the back, and I am going to then take my stamp guides, okay, and I am going to place them. When it comes to the tapered cuffs, we don't have a stamping guide for you guys with these, so you're really just going to eyeball it. I'm going to use uppercase. I'm going to use uppercase. My uppercase Stargazer. Let's pull that out. All right. Okay, so Stargazer is our signature fonts. Just like this, guys. Okay, so Signature's a little bit different. It's rated for stainless steel. They are ground on both sides of it. It's tapered, making it a little bit easier to, well, a lot easier to line up your letters. So guys, when you are using this font, since it is a 2mm font, I know when I talk to you, when we do a 3mm, now I'm just going to use this as a template. When you're using a 3mm, your letters are going to go in between your black and your orange, okay? When you're using a smaller font, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do Mom. When you're using a 2mm, like Stargazer, and it's uppercase, you could utilize your, because it's smaller than a 3, you could utilize the space and the line on, you know, on each. So I'm going to move this down just a little bit. All right. So here we go. You always want to make sure that the ImpressArt's facing you. You want to bring this down, lightly drag it till you feel that restriction in that tape, that sticker, okay? And you're going to give it a light tap. You give it a light tap, guys, because these are very sharp. And now I'm going to take my O, line that up with my line. Same thing with my M. And there is my Mom, okay? Now on my other side, we are going to do names. Okay, so we're gonna put, let's do, and I wanna space, Mom is different. I wanna space these out a little bit. So I'm gonna do CAROLYN and DENIS. And we are going to line that up. Now remember, guys, let me move this over. Okay, so remember, you're gonna place that stamp flat. You're gonna lightly drag that and line that up with your letter that you have on your sticker guide, okay? Now, if you're finding that you're going over your sticker, 2 N's in Dennis. Thank you, Keith. All right. If you're finding that you're going over your sticker, okay, you're going to slightly, does everybody see how I'm tipping that towards me? You want to place it flat, tip it a little bit, and see if it's catching that sticker, okay? So flat, and we're going to tip that. Going to give it a hit. There is my A. My R, my O. Again, flat, lightly drag that down, give it a hit. Now I'm not hitting so aggressively, guys. Remember that this is a signature set, so it is very sharp. These are rated for stainless. Okay, and I'm going to come back in with my dot stamp, and I'm going to use a small heart. Let's see if I could see that somewhere. Where do we have my small heart? Here we go. Here's another little embellishment that I love using. So this is the 2.5 Whimsy heart. You can buy it you could purchase it by itself, or it comes in a pack of 3 hearts. And I'm just gonna put that right in the center. And then I'm gonna finish my Dennis with 2 ends as per Keith. Thank you, Keith. D. Here we go. E. Do the N. N. I. And the S. So I'm going to then pull my sticker away, so we'll see that we're nice and lined up, okay? And we're nice and even. All right, there we go. And I am going to, I'm not going to bend this live. I'm going to show you how to bend it, show you how to bend a bracelet, but it's not going to be this one because I kind of want to play around with the inside a little bit with polishing it. Remember, guys, when you're making your bracelet, you definitely want to do all the work on the inside before you bend it, okay? Because it makes it a little harder once your bracelet is bent, okay? So I am just going to put this aside right now, okay? And I am going to just really quickly do one on the copper. Do we like the copper? I think we like the copper. I love the copper. So I'm going to pull the plastic off of this one. This one I'm going to bend for you guys, and I'm going to show you how to, I'm just going to pull this off the camera to get that plastic off because it's a little far for me to see. So we are going to do, now you don't have to, I am so sorry with this tripod, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. It means a lot. You don't always have to do designs like I did, like a calculated scenery. You don't have to do that. You can use just one flower. Now I am going to, obviously you all saw me miss my stamp before and it went flying, so I damaged my scratch protector. So I'm just going to replace that. So we're going to do something just a little different. Lately, I've really enjoyed not stamping on the center of the bracelet, in the center of the bracelet. Here is my scratch protector sheet. I'm really liking a pattern on the bracelet, or really just a really simple, sleek bracelet with the birth flower on one side and just the name really delicate on the other side. And just having a really nice, either you could texture it or a really nice matte finish. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna walk you through the sticker guides. So guys, these are sticker guides for cuffs. Okay, they're nice and long. They're great for the 6-inch bracelets. You can do several names. You can do a one name. They're great. So you're going to notice that on the ends of these sticker guides, do you see that, guys? We have one blue line straight across. Then we have another mark followed by another one. See those hash marks, those blue hash marks on the ends? That blue line that runs down your entire bracelet guide, that's going to be for your 1/4-inch bracelet. Now this is the 1/2 inch bracelet. What I'm going to do with the 1/2 inch is I am going to, you always want to find your center. But since I'm stamping on the end of this, I am going to line up, see that blue line, that hash line? I'm going to line that up right here on my bracelet. And I'm going to make sure that it hits, sticky fingers today, that it hits the end, it meets the end of my metal bracelet. Does everybody see that? So you see that long line? That long line is going to, that's for your 1/4 inch bracelet, all right? That second line right here, guys, that's going to be for your 1/2 inch, and you're going to line up those hash marks on either side of that bracelet, okay? You want to make sure that it is right on the end of that, all right? It lines up nicely. And what that's going to do is you are going to be able not only to space out your letters great, but you're also going to be, it's going to make sure that you're stamping right into the center of that bracelet, okay? So you're going to place that on your block, okay? And I am going to use, I'm going to get a little fancy with Reagan's. We're going to do an uppercase Heartbreaker. Now, Heartbreaker also is a signature font. It's rated for stainless, and it's tapered as well. Okay, now Heartbreaker could be either connecting or non-connecting. Totally up to you. All right. And we're going to use a lowercase. Okay, oops, and that just falls off. We're real today, guys. All right, let me pull this off. An easy excuse for more stamps, yes. So I'm going to pull my R out of this, and I'm going to locate where my blank went flying. Is Willow too large of a font to use on an, yes, Jennifer, it is. So your 1/8 inch bracelet, guys, that's for Stargazer and 1.5 sans serif. Okay, your 1/8 inch bracelets are very thin. Okay, I don't even know if I have, let me see if I have, just so I could show you really quick. So your 1/8 inch bracelet, let's go over that really quick. Your 1/8 inch bracelet is very thin, okay? This is your 1/4 inch. That is your 1/2 inch. All right. And then we have 5/8. All right, so let me pick this up so I could show you guys. These are the sizes of the different bracelets. See the ends? Okay. So no, Jennifer, you can use Melody lowercase on this, okay? Your descending letters, your J, your G, your P will go off the bracelet, but for the most part, you can use it, okay? You can use the Willow lengthwise if you want, with the 1/8, with the 1/8 inch, sorry. Okay, so we're going to do Reagan. So I am going to start with my R. So I am going to line it up. Here is my R. All right. So now the lowercase, you could either choose to connect it or not to connect it. So I'm going to show you how I connect it. You always want to cover the last letter, okay? So I have my R. I'm going to use my A. I am actually going to tape my bracelet down. So here is my A. So I'm going to cover my half of my R. Does everybody see that? Okay. So we are going to do, let's see. There's my E. So you're covering your last letter. So with my descender, okay, I am not going to drag my descender down, okay? I'm going to place it. So I'm going to cover my E and place my descender right on that blue line. Does everybody see that blue line here? Okay. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if I drag my descender, my descending G, it will be way up top. So I am going to place it down. Give it a hit, and there's my G. And here is my A. I'm going to go right back. I'm covering my G, lining that up, bringing it down. My A. And then again, flat. Drag that down. There is my N. So there is my Reagan. Okay. Nice and even. Straight in the center, perfect spacing, thanks to these sticker guides. And then on the opposite end, I am going to, again, take my tape, okay, and I am going to secure my bracelet to my block. All right, now I'm working with a 1/2 inch bracelet blank, and my flower is, you know, it's on a 12-inch shank. Okay, let me grab my flower. So you're gonna see that this flower is big for my bracelet. I am literally going to just use creative license. And I'm going to put it on there because I love when my stamps kind of are on a slant, especially these flowers. And sometimes my stem isn't in there, so it leaves a really nice, beautiful burst. Okay? So I'm going to take my stamp and I am going to really put pressure on it. Let me bring that over. Okay, and I'm going to start at the bottom, at the top, work my way around, and pull it back. And you're going to see it leaves a really nice and even impression by tilting and tapping it. Okay. What I'm going to do on this bracelet is I am going to leave it just like that, okay? So it has a really nice design on one end, Reagan on the opposite end. And when you stamp into the sticker guide tape, you definitely just want to make sure to pull that, that piece of sticker out of that impression. Okay, can I use any letter set on steel? Terry, you could use our signature fonts on steel. So then I'm going to come back in next to Reagan's name, and I'm just going to put a crystal in there. So I've made my divot. Okay. All right, so there's my divot. Perfect. There's my Reagan. There is my flower. Okay. And I am going to bend it. So when you're bending your bracelets, you always I like to use both the bending bar, okay, and the plier, okay? So I'm gonna pull this back. Okay, so you would bend your tapered the same way that you're bending your non-tapered. You're going to put, with your impressions facing up, you're going to put part of your bracelet, the end of your bracelet, in that channel. Take your thumb, firmly place it against it, take the palm of your hand, and bring that way over. Okay? Then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put my bracelet in my channel, put my thumb firmly against it, bring that right over. Okay? Just like that. All right? Then I'm going to come in the center, okay? Because I like more of an oval cuff, and I'm going to follow the curvature of my bracelet inside those jaws, and I'm going to give it a squeeze. And you're going to see that it forms it, and then I'm just going to continue to go around my copper, and go all the way around it. Then I'm going to take my fingers and bend it out a little bit. And how pretty is that? Very simple. I'm going to give it a really nice matte finish. Okay? But after my matte finish, actually, you know what? We're going to buff that. Let's grab a buffing block. Okay, and I'm just going to run it over so you can see the difference, guys. Even from it just sitting in my studio, do you see how it tarnished a little bit? It oxidizes. Remember, guys, this copper and brass isn't plated, okay? They're copper all the way through. They're brass all the way through. They're jeweler's brass and copper, okay? You want to definitely... What tool do I use to make the divot? That's a crystal setter. Okay, so you're going to just make it shiny. I'm not going to do this matte. I'm going to give it a really nice polish. Do you see how that brings that mirror image right up as opposed to, okay? This is also great if you're wearing a copper bracelet or brass or silver and you just want to polish your piece up. Look at that shine. Okay, it takes that tarnish or that oxidizing right off. Remember, you cannot use a buffing block on the artisan bracelets because those are plated. So I'm going to come around. I'm going to shine that right up. And then I'm going to sink my crystal. Okay, so I'm going to put that on my block. Let's pull out a crystal. And I want to pull out there we go. I want to pull out a November citrine stone. Now remember, guys, and I know I say this all the time, when it comes to using your GS Hypo, you definitely, when you open it up, you don't want to squeeze the container. Because if you squeeze it, it will just keep on flowing. So we're going to work with the little dot of glue that comes out of it. And let me show you real quick. All right, so you're going to pull this out. Oh, and I obviously didn't clean off my applicator, but do you see how, let's see if I could get that in there. See how the bead of glue just comes? You're going to take your applicator and you're going to take a bead of glue off there, okay? Just like that, okay? And you're going to put it right inside of your impression. That's why I like to really get that divot nice and deep. Okay, then I'm going to pick up my crystal. And this is, we have a November baby, so I'm going to set that right inside using a pair of tweezers and move that right in there. And I'm just going to have a couple of little glue strands, but that is what we're going to do. And that's it. That's really as simple as that. Now, with the copper, I personally like to use the silver enamel marker, or you could use the black. Mary, you could color it before, you could color it, you know, after. With this one, I really wasn't sure if I was going to color it. I think I'm just going to take the silver marker and just run over it really quick. I didn't make my decision until now. So you definitely want to color it in before you put your glue in there. Okay. It looks really classy, I think. Yes, Julie, you could definitely use the applicator. But guys, when you use this GS Hypo, you definitely want to make sure that before you put it away, you clean off with a paper towel, you clean off the remnants of what you have, because this is what happens. Then it just keeps on flowing and flowing and flowing. So when you take that pin out of it, you definitely don't need to squeeze that container. And again, I just use a regular household paper towel. Nothing fancy. All right, and I'm just gonna take it. Nothing's on it. Look how nice. That silver looks on that copper. I'm just gonna run it. Do you see how it just leaves a really nice, so yes, enameling before crystals. I wasn't gonna put any enamel on it. It's personal preference. When I'm working with bracelets, copper always tarnishes a little bit. I just like how the tarnish looks in the crevices of stamped impressions. So now I let it dry a little too much. Do you see that over there? You could either take a little bit of rubbing alcohol or an alcohol pad, or you can use your enamel marker and just go over it again. Dab it, lightly wipe, and the rest of your enamel comes off. All right, so we'll come back around here. Color that in, lightly wipe, and there is my flower impression. Okay, now do you see when I stamped it close to the edge, I have a little bit of a bubble in here? That is really easily fixable, guys. When you have that bump here, all right, does everybody see that? All I'm gonna do is turn it, put it flat on my block. You're gonna take your head without your crystals on your block, and you're just going to give it a little couple of hits, okay? And if that doesn't work, definitely flip it over and lightly tap it. And your metal will go straight into, you'll form it right back into your bracelet, okay? I guess the sun's coming out here. It's very bright in this room today. So, yes, the silver looks beautiful on the copper. Also, the gold enamel marker looks fantastic on silver because it looks like it gives it a gold flake effect. So you definitely want to clean off your GS Hypo, and you want to put your applicator right back in that impression before it acts like a volcano and comes out even more. So definitely make sure that it's clean and you have your applicator snug right inside that. Never thought of using silver enamel on the copper. You love how that looks, right? You could also mix your black and your silver. If you want something that, let me clean this block off a little bit. All right. If you, let's do a couple of designs. Let's do a flower really quick. Okay. So you could mix your silver and your black. All right. So if I want more of, let's say I'm working on a piece and I don't want that black enamel so stark in that. I'm going to take my black enamel. I'm going to color it in. Okay. Then I'm going to take my dry paper towel. I'm going to make it messy, lightly wipe it. Okay. Then I'm going to come back in with my silver enamel marker. And do we see what's happening here? See how it's turning into more of like a gunmetal, a darker gray? Okay. And then I'm going to lightly wipe it again. So you could see that it makes it a darker gray, silver gray, okay? Which is not as light as this is. It's more of a darker patinaed look, okay? Or guys, you can mix colors. We have the blue. Let's do that really quick. So now that we have the gray, I'm going to come back in with my blue and I'm going to lightly color that in. Now with the blue, I like it. It's like a patina green blue. It's more like, I think, a turquoise. It reminds me of an old rusty car. It's one of my favorites. So I come in and I'm just going to leave it on there. And guys, with these enamel markers, the colors, you can make them as dark as you want. You know, this could be a light blue. You can make it a little bit darker just by adding on. All right. Then I'm going to take and lightly wipe. And you could see that I have that dark gray, and now I have that blue. So yes, it's really fun to mix. The best thing about mixing these is, guys, you could always take a paper towel. If you get another ink on your tip and just clean it off, okay? If you really feel like you really overdone it and it's not getting cleaned, you always have an extra tip on your cap, which is fantastic. All right, so definitely mix your enamel markers. You've got in the pack, you could buy them separately. We have a gold. Let's see how that looks. So I'm gonna just take an impression. You know what? I'm gonna come in and I'm going to just do the gold on one of the flowers from that tapered bracelet that we worked on before. Does everybody see how pretty that looks? It's got, and so does the silver, but you could see it a little bit more in the gold. The silver has a glitter pearl to it. So what I like about this enamel marker is, oh, and I got blue on it. It looks like metal flake, like gold flake. And you could go back and make it as dark as you want. Get another clean piece of paper towel. How pretty is that? So it really looks gorgeous on the silver. And then there is a chocolate brown. Let's see if I have that handy. I'm not sure if I have that one handy today. Let's see. I believe I do. And then we have a chocolate brown. So this chocolate brown looks really nice on brass. Let me see if I have anything in brass to show you. So I am going to take a brass and I am going to put these on the side. And I'm just going to stamp the flower because I have my mandala patterns out from earlier. And now I have a little flower design. And I'm going to use my brown marker right inside my flower. Does everybody see that? Okay. Again, I'm going to take my paper towel. Oh, I took too much out. So I'm just going to cover it. I'm going to let it dry for a few seconds. I'm going to blot it, lightly wipe. You're going to see that chocolate brown really looks nice on it. This looks really pretty if you're doing a mandala pattern because the black is not so shocking on that. So yes, Caroline, we have a lot of colors. So we have the brown, we have the patina green, that's very much like a turquoise. We have a gold metal flake, we have a silver metal flake, and we have the black. So we learned how to set a crystal. We learned how to use some ultra detail stamps. I gave you some tips and tricks on how to use different enamels in your pieces. What does the brown look like on silver? It pretty much looks like a chocolate brown. Kaylee, I think we have in the inspiration gallery. Guys, make sure that if this is your first time viewing or if you haven't made it over to ImpressArt.com, you sign up for our newsletter because we're always having challenges. We're having giveaways. We come out with a lot of new products and there's a lot of great tutorials and different projects that you could take a look at. And if there's anything that you see on either Instagram or Facebook and it doesn't have a tutorial for it, definitely give Jen and I a holler and we will try to make that happen for you guys. When I hammer more aggressively, I notice little pieces of my hammer chipping off. That's fine. So Jill, I just want to go over that really quick with you guys. You notice that little chips fall off of mine too. I have had my hammer since way before I started to work for ImpressArt. Back when the hammer was just a thought, one of my amazing bosses, Adam, asked me, to hold it and see what I thought of it. So this hammer is fantastic. When you're stamping, you want to make sure one of two things, okay? You want to make sure that it's a brass head. You want to make sure that it's our hammer. And you want to make sure you're on a steel block. The reason why I preach brass, even though it's flaking off, it's soft. So it's absorbing the shock of you hitting that steel hammer. When you hit steel on steel, like if you're using a regular household hammer, one of two things could happen. One, it could spark, and I would hate that to happen to you. And two, you'll get a ghost impression. So you'll get, let's say you're stamping apple. You'll start with your A, and your A will bounce, and you will get a ghost impression on top of half of your A impression that you are stamping. So the bounce of steel hitting on steel is really not great. When you have your steel isn't great. When you're using your brass hammer, it's soft, so it absorbs the shock of you hitting that steel stamp. That's why sometimes it flakes off a little bit. That's perfectly normal. I've literally been using this specific particular hammer for the last 3 years, and it's a little crazy. And if you have a metal stamping friend, definitely grab her hammer and see. I like to call it your metal stamping fingerprint, because Jen's hammer is definitely more towards the left. I hit my stamps at the top. Do you see that? So I am definitely, it's my stamper's fingerprint, I like to say. Everybody's hammer looks different because everybody hits their stamps at different ways. And ladies, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hopefully it's filled with nice weather and flowers and crafting and family. If it is not, definitely relax outside, let the sun shine on your face and soak in every moment possible this weekend. And remember to stamp and hashtag us in it and let Jen and I see what you're working on. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys all on Monday. Have a good weekend.